So let me answer this question. So we live in a society where there's different groups, different types, different conversations, and just to be yourself and be able to have voice of opinions or convictions or beliefs and things like that, I think it's an incredibly deep question to get at, which is this. Compartmentalization, if you compartmentalize your life to protect immaturity, it's an unhealthy thing. Christians do that. I come to church on Sunday. On Monday, I'm going to get drunk. On Tuesday, I'm going to whatever. And you compartmentalize your life to serve your own selfish agenda, right? Parents realize that compartmentalizing, meaning I'm not going to watch this movie in front of my kids, and I'm not going to have that conversation in front of my kids because it's not where they're at. Like the compartmentalization to serve noble ends is actually a part of what it means to be mature or wise. And to go a step further, if you lived in Nazi Germany and you were a dissenter, you'd realize real quickly that just speaking your mind might feel really good for the moment, but it'd be it's your last chance to speak your mind. You might have a greater degree of influence using your voice by picking and choosing when and where you speak, and compartmentalizing by being shrewd and looking for allies and looking for whatever. So when Scripture says to be as innocent as doves, but as wise or as shrewd as a serpent, what Jesus is saying is keep your heart pure, keep your intentions and your motives pure, but when you look out at the world, that rationality that God gave you, the ability to think, the ability to strategize, like absolutely conduct yourself in a way that's smart. You don't get an award for being dumb, right? Nobody does. I mean, we might give them a pass if somebody's dumb, like, well, that was really dumb, but obviously you were convicted and now you're fired from your job, and I'm not going to disparage you for making that comment, but I'm also not going to give you an award, right? So we don't totally judge or make fun of those people, but we look at them and we're like, yeah, I don't know. There might have been other things you could have done there that might have been a bit better. So you don't get an award for being dumb. I think the counsel, and I think where it's interesting is to say, take in your purity of heart, take in who God's called you to be with a deep prayer life and everything else, and you look at the circumstances in front of you with job, with family, with culture, with friends. What face are you going to actually turn to them in different situations? And to what degree are you going to be fully transparent with them in different situations? And without going overboard and somehow, living in the shadows and becoming manipulative, but just being smart with what it is you choose to talk about and how you choose to talk about it in each given different situation. Paul does this with church planting. He says, I became a Jew to the Jew, a Greek to the Greeks, and a Roman to the Romans. In other words, I learned how to read my audience and to change my message or to package my message based on their culture, their mother tongue, their values, their kind of history. And so I've learned how to adapt myself to different environments. And he says he did that he might win some. So in other words, the purpose of winning people over actually, in Paul's example, speaks to the idea of strategizing or learning how to interact with different groups of people at different times in different ways. So the gospel ends and gospel purposes for culture would actually say that I should be smart enough or wise enough or shrewd enough to handle different environments with different groups of people with different value sets and win all of them and come off well in all of them. And again, that goes back for me to education and learning and studying and listening. And when you get it wrong, don't go, oh, those people are just persecuting me. Say, how would I have done this different, that instead of just getting a patterned response from them, I might have actually caused them to think, right? And so if we care about it enough, like anything, whether it's golf or whatever, if you care about something enough, you invest time and energy into learning how to do it better. More Christians need to spend more time on learning how to communicate Christianity better than just feeling like we have a free pass to vomit whatever we're thinking or feeling, and then talking always about the other people, the other person or the other people that aren't tolerant enough of my inability to speak with any degree of wisdom or gravitas. Anyways, so Christians, I think, leaning into it, find themselves in a position to figure out how to do this a lot better. So